Hi everyone and welcome. You're here today with Andy Valkyrie Divine, and we're continuing our journey through the Chakra Energy Series event that we're going through. And we just finished with the heart yesterday, and today we're actually moving on to the throat. So we're going to be discussing the throat chakra today, and I'm just going to introduce you to the fundamentals. Again, we're just going to start with a brief brainstorming of what you think the throat chakra, would do, or what are the characteristics of the chakra. And so when we think of the throat, it's our center of expression, right? I cannot speak unless I use my throat and I use my vocal cords and all of this area of my body, including my stomach, because all the power has to come from there. So, there's this whole idea of expression, of communication, right? Through our words, through what we say, we're constantly engaging the throat chakra. And so it's a huge center of connecting to others through voice, through sound, because we're vibrating our vocal cords, and what ends up happening is we end up producing sound. And it's also a center of not only just expression in terms of talking and making sounds that other people can interpret into language, but also creative expression. It's a center of creativity, because any form of expression, any form of creativity is a form of expression. And so when you're singing, when you're chanting, when you're talking, even when you're writing, even though you're not actually expressing it vocally, these are all forms of expression that come from the throat chakra. And so, again, it's about communication, it's about sound, vibration, connecting to others through voice, through sound. And so it's a huge center of many things, because it has a lot to do with the interactions that we have every day with those around us, and language, and it's really the main way in which we express ourselves, other than, of course, gesticulating, like I do all the time with my hands all over the place. But language is really the way that we express ourselves and understand each other. So it's a very important chakra for that reason, and the places of the body that are governed by this energy have to do with the throat, the neck overall, like even like through the back of the neck. We're talking about the mouth, the jaw, because this is the part that is constantly active when we're engaging this chakra, and also the ears, which might not be so obvious, but it's very important to understand that when we talk about communication, if the other person's not listening, then there is no communication. You can talk all you want. So there's definitely a part there with the ears, the mouth, the jaw, the neck, the throat. All of these play a huge role in terms of the location of the chakra and where the energy is located. And in Sanskrit, the name of this chakra is called Visuddha, and it actually means purification, and I'll address that in a minute, because it's not very intuitive in terms of how is this purifying to be talking to people, or to be expressing or communicating. But I'll let you think about that for a little bit while I continue with an overview, and then we'll jump into that, and you'll see the connections very shortly. So the color of this chakra is blue, typically a lighter blue, kind of like this teddy bear. I don't have too many blue things. I'm not a fan of the color myself, but I have this cute little teddy bear that I got for Valentine's Day, and he's a really, really cute baby blue. So blue is the color to go. It doesn't matter what shade. It can be light, it can be darker, but that is the color vibration that we're looking for, that we want to entrain with. And this chakra is really about our right to speak, our right to express ourselves, our right to be creative, and express our truth of who we are. So that's what we're working towards when we have a chakra that is balanced in relation to the throat. So we are good at expressing ourselves. We're good at speaking, at voicing our opinions. Doing it in a balanced manner so that it's not too aggressive, but also at the same time, you're not holding back from saying what you have to say. So there's a nice balance there that we're looking into, and I'll start by talking a little bit about sound, because that is the way that. So remember, in the other 4 chakras that we were looking at, we had the 4 elements. So we had earth. Let's test ourselves. So we had earth, we had water, which was our emotions, we had fire, and then we had air in the heart. So those were the 4 elements that were the physical elements, so to speak. Air not so much, but because it's getting into the higher levels, the higher frequencies. And so when we reach the throat, the element, so to speak, is really that of sound, of vibration. And it's really through sound and communication that we are able to express ourselves and to really breathe spirit into our world. It's basically the way that we communicate it's the expression of our own spirit, of our own self that we had found in the heart. When we were doing that work, and remember I was saying that the heart is the center of you, of who you are, and what your purpose is. And so the throat, as we move up into that energy, it helps us express that purpose and really be able to creatively express it in such a way that it reaches others through language and communication and this whole aspect of sound and sound vibration. Now, I was talking about purification, and I was saying that maybe at first glance it might not really make a lot of sense if we're thinking of a chakra that is purifying, but I'll make you think a little bit about what do we do with our mouth? And again, we're talking about ingesting things, right? And I know that we were addressing this also in the solar plexus, because in the solar plexus we were talking about the stomach. So we were talking about foods and sustenance, water, liquids, everything that we need in order to change these material things into energy, right? And I was saying that in order to create sound, you need that power from the solar plexus to bring it up through the, through, like, from your stomach, through your thoracic cage, and all the way up through your esophagus and your vocal cords, your mouth. All of this part of you is active when you do that, when you communicate. And you want to think of what constantly, what do you put through your mouth, and also by the same token, what comes out of your mouth, because a lot of the times we may be speaking our truth, and we want to speak our truth, and that's the ultimate goal of this chakra. But at the same time, we may also be spouting lies and saying things that are not really truthful, and that is where this chakra is not pure, right? You're expressing things that are not really coming from your center, are not really coming from you. And so the whole aspect of this chakra is to purify whatever comes up, so that you want to make sure that it comes from that center that is really you, and you're expressing your purpose, you're expressing that creative side of you, that part of you that is really in line with who you are, and that is truth. That is your own truth that you're voicing out to the world. Now, another thing is that when we communicate to people, it brings a lot of order into our world. Sometimes we can be too much in our head, and we just, there's too many thoughts going on, and you just can't clarify your thoughts, and there's just too much going on, and you're like, whoa. And so you want to talk to people about it. You want to talk to your friends. You want to express what is happening, because as you express yourself, you're taking it out from your head, and you're giving it like a channel, right, through your mouth, and through the sound, through this communication that is happening, that is helping you clarify what previously in your head was a mess. Not necessarily, but I don't know. For me, it's always like that. You know, when I start communicating, it all kind of starts falling into place. And communication doesn't necessarily, like I said, have to be with a person necessarily. You could also write it, you can sing it, you can chant it. All of these forms are different forms of communication where you're using sound to express what you're feeling and to purify yourself and purify your focus. Now, if we're thinking about vibration, and we were discussing the 4 first levels, they were more the elements, the 4 elements that we were talking about. And at the level of the heart, we were discussing yesterday and the day before how we work with air, you know, because it's a light medium, and that's the element that governs the heart. Now, we need that air as we move upward into the throat in order to communicate. So vibration, by its very definition, is really the oscillation of air molecules. It's movement of air molecules vibrating, right? So what happens is through sound and vibration, what we're looking into is to kind of fine-tune our own energetic vibration and have that clearer expression of spirit, right? And when I say spirit, I'm referring to your purpose, to who you are, to your truth. So all those things we want to try to express fully and express them in a clear way, you know, to the world, because our language is the way that we, again, express ourselves. You know, it's not the only way, of course, but it's one of the main ways that we communicate with others. And since we're talking about communication, like I said, you know, we have to not forget the ears, even though it sounds weird when you're communicating, but it's very important because, you know, like I said, if people aren't listening, nothing really comes through. You know, I can talk to you all I want, and I can try to teach you and show you books and whatever else. If you're not ready to attentively listen to what I have to say, I'm not getting anywhere, right? So the ears play a huge role in this chakra, and a lot of people don't realize that communication actually starts with active listening. And it's only when you actively listen, when you're really tuning in and you're trying to understand, you know, where the person is coming from and what are they communicating with you or to you, and how does it identify with you, or how do you identify with the information, you know, that we're really starting to truly have a communication channel. So from that perspective, communication really goes both ways, right? The last thing, although I've kind of addressed it again, is that creativity, which again is one of the main aspect of this chakra, is really all creativity is a form of communication, a form of expression of ourselves, and as such, this is the chakra that is one of the most known for that. We also had the sacral chakra. So remember, the sacral chakra was also a powerful center of creativity, from the sense that, you know, we were talking about the genitals and the you know, the sexual expression, and that's also expression, that's also creativity, and I was saying that, like, at its very core, creating means to create life, right? And again, that form of creation is also a form of expression. You know, two people are expressing themselves in a sexual union that is bound by love coming from the heart in order to manifest creation at its highest, you know, at its highest, let's put it that way, right? So you can say definitely that the sacral chakra and the throat chakra are very much connected from that perspective. So that's all I had to say for today, guys. I'm just giving you a quick overview. Tomorrow we're going to discuss what happens when this chakra is out of balance. I want you to think a little bit sort of in terms of how do you think that this chakra would manifest, seeing that it's the center of communication, of expressing your truth, of you know, of expressing your creativity and who you are, and all those beautiful discoveries that you found in the heart and in that sacred space of who you are. So I'll let you ponder that, and again, I'll be posting my blog. Check down below, the link is right there. It would be great if you can subscribe, and tomorrow we'll be discussing the imbalances of the throat chakra. So thank you again for tuning in, guys, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Blessings.